friends, it's Terri Gaines, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. In this video tutorial, I have so much to share with you. I am going to be creating a card with the party alphabet dies. These dies are on page 86 of Stampin' Up's 2025-2026 annual catalog. And when I look at these dies, I often think they're for home decor, banners, scrapbooking. I'm going to actually be using my dies to personalize greeting cards. So I have a fun card I'm going to create and show you all the tips and tricks on how I use that. But before I share the card, I want to talk about these dies. There are 36 dies in this die set. They are bundled with the party banner dies. They have 20 dies. These are large dies. The banner dies have all of these banners that are layered for layering. The largest banner is 7 inches by 5 3/8. These can be used for card bases. I've seen lots of card bases created with those. The alphabet dies, there are 36 of those dies. They are about 2 1/4 in height, and they come in 2 sheets. Now what I did was, before I took them off that cardboard with the sticky tape on it, I took them, put them on my copy machine and made a photocopy of them. So then when I replace them, I know exactly where they go and which ones I might be missing. And then I took that copy paper, I put it on some magnetic adhesive sheets. I purchased these on Amazon. They said they're a strong magnet. That's what I was looking for. They're 8 by 10. You get 15 sheets. And I also have been putting these inside my stamp case for my stamps that have a die that coordinates with them. I'll show you that in a moment. I will link to this Amazon, but everybody has a different way of storing. So as I mentioned, these are on a magnetic sheet. The magnetic sheets are adhesive back, but I did not pull the adhesive back off. I just taped the copy paper to the magnetic side of that. Then I can just store them right here in this case. So I am going to be creating a personalized card. So I'm just going to grab the first letter of the name for the card I'm going to be creating today. And now let me show you the paper and the other product I'm going to be using for this card. So before I go any further, I want to mention the price of these dies. As I mentioned, I'm going to be using them for personalized cards, but they are $99. I do want to let you know, if you are looking at the dies or even the bundle, which is $125, Wednesday through Friday, July 23rd through the 25th is a perfect time to get them, because you will get free shipping for orders that are $75 or more, plus you will earn rewards. So if you buy just this, you will save $10.89 for shipping, and you will get $9.90 for rewards on a future order if you place your order online and opt into the reward program. So amazing opportunity. Bundled together, you're going to save $13.75 on shipping if you get them July 23rd through the 25th. So back to the designer series paper. This is part of the new online exclusives. These are the July online exclusive products. I do have a PDF on my blog you can download, and it's part of the Spooky Sweet collection. I am using the designer series paper. The designer series paper is 12 by 12 in size. You get 6 each, and some of them are double-sided. 5 of them are double-sided. I'm going to be cutting out these cute images for the card, and then I'm going to use this paper for the layer. I'm not using this paper, but there's so many opportunities for that. And then I am going to use the back side of this paper for for the alphabets as well. As I mentioned, I do have another sample to share. This is one of the 5 double-sided prints, and one of them are die cuts. So this is going to be very versatile for cards or scrapbook pages or home decor. That's the back side. This is another layer, all of these little tags you can cut out. That's the back side. And then you get 2 sheets of die cuts. These are already die cut for you, just need to pop them out. I am going to be using several of these, and I will show you those as we work with the card. So let's talk about the bundle. There's a coordinating bundle. I'm only using the sentiments. And I'm stamping my envelopes with these, but these are the additional dies. This is a die that's got a score line right here. If you fold on the score line, you can put it on the top of a bag or a card. So that's pretty cool. This is bundled. As I mentioned, I did put that adhesive magnet sheet on the inside, and I also just placed that paper that comes in that die set right back here, because I always want to know how many dies are in there, so I can always look here. There's 9 dies, and I could have photocopied the dies before I took them off that white cardboard with the tape, and then tape that on here, but I thought of that afterwards. So that's how I store my dies in my stamp set. So you guys are waiting for the card. So let's talk about the card. Now, I have lots of letters to get on my card, so I decided to do a slimline card. I'm using envelopes that I got at the Dollar Tree. The envelope is 9.5 by 4.25 in height. So let me show you that. Let me show you that here. So I've got that stamped already, and it's one that's the white one. These are just at the Dollar Tree. You can get them with the security lining, but it's just going to be to get the card to my great nephew for Halloween. And I also have a card for my great niece that I'll show you afterwards. So my card base is pumpkin pie for this first card, and it is 9.25 by 7.75, scored at 3 7/8 along the 7.75 size. Now that's not the typical large slimline card size, but I made it so it would just fit in the envelope because I have lots of letters to go across, lots of little embellishments. So I wanted this card as large as I could get it. So that's my card base. And then the designer series paper is just 1/4 inch smaller than that. And I'm using this design, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to the card base. So I'm just going to use my Stampin' Seal and adhere that. Now I also have a basic white layer that I have indicated for the inside, and that one will adhere next. So I usually look at opposite corners. This is a fairly large card base to hold across and look at opposite corners. So I'm just going to look for equal spacing on the bottom, the sides, and if I cut it pretty even, it should be even up there. So that's my designer series paper layer. Then for my basic white, I cut that at 8.5. That way I can get more per sheet. I already stamped Happy Halloween on here. And you can see, can you see that fingerprint over here? That's the beauty of 2 sides of the cardstock. Oh, if you mess up one side, just turn it over and you can put that here. So I'm going to adhere that to the inside. And then we have the envelope, and then it's the decorative images. I don't have those on my measurements, but what I did was I took every letter I need for the name and I cut that out of basic black. And then I'm going to layer those on. Well, then I wanted to add some decorative. So I took the same letters and die cut those out of the designer series paper. So this is one of the, let's see, it's this side. So I cut those out. And what I'm going to do is just have the black be a little shadow. So I'm going to do a little shadow. That's going to pop out a little bit better, I think, for the card. So I'm going to bring in my silicone craft mat. I'm going to put adhesive on the back of the designer series paper and layer this just maybe about 1/8 of an inch, so the decorative image or the designer series paper is down 1/8 and to the left about 1/8, approximately. It doesn't have to be perfect. Then I want to stand these up. So I'm going to bring in some dimensionals. These are fairly strong, or really strong. I shouldn't say fairly strong. They're really strong. They're great for adding dimension to your projects. So I'm going to go ahead and add these. Now, I think I told you that I'm using my decorative images from, I know I did. I'm pretty sure I did. From the designer series paper. So I have those already cut out. So let me show you what I did here. I have some of these are from this designer series paper, and then some of them are from these. So I cut more around these. You can see I took some of the white space off of some of those. So I have those already prepared. And then what I'm going to do is get all my alphabets cut out and in this fashion. And I did that work ahead of time just to save some video time. And I'm making this card for Oliver. So I'm going to put Oliver's name across. So here are some of the tips that I want to share with you when I'm using these alphabet. As I mentioned, I put a backing on it just to pop them out. I don't want to be specific, and I could, with his name, probably get it all straight across. Then it adds more detail and perfection to it. I'm going to offset the alphabet letters. That way I don't have to worry about them being equal and the same. I can get that all lined up. Now, also the question is, okay, which letter do you start with? Well, I would lay them all down. Do not peel the backings of the adhesive off or the dimensionals. If you do, like I did here, I just grabbed the backing from mini glue dots and put on there because I really want to kind of layer these. So depending on the name and the spacing you want, just determines which letter you start with. So first I am going to set them like so. Now, one thing I am going to do before I start this process is if I have a letter like this, and I might want a little character peeking out of that. For example, I'm going to have this little guy right like that. So I have to determine, do I want to attach him before or after I attach him to the card? Do I want to adhere him in here? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach him first. And by putting him in here, I know that the left side of him is going to be adhered to here. And then it is going to be adhered to this side. So I'm going to take my image, turn it over, put some adhesive across here. I'm going to tuck him in here, get him where I want it to be placed. Let's see, I think that looks pretty good. He's going to be running out of there. And then I'm going to take that backing off of this dimensional, and that little bit will be adhered here. I don't think I need to put any more adhesive down. I think that's going to hold everything together. So then I'm going to take my backings off of this part, and let me grab my, I think I moved I did. I'm just going to use my fingers and get my backings off. I moved my take your pick tool to a different workstation in my craft room. So I have that, and as I mentioned, I'm just going to put a letter up, down, up, just kind of randomly place that. And I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to put that where I have about 1/8 of an inch spacing of designer series paper. Can you see what I mean by that? 1/8 of an inch of designer series paper there. So then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to place this one down next. And I'm going to take the backings off. And I can't believe I moved my take your pick tool. Oh, here, you know what? I haven't the old one. These are the ones we used to sell. That's in my drawer right here. I'm just going to grab that. Take your pick has this piercing tool on it that makes it much easier to get those backings off. So then I'm going to place this about 1/8 of an inch there. Now what I'm going to do is just start over here and work my way here. I can see as I place these down that, you know, I'm good with that. I don't want it to be straight. That's just my personal decision, because if I make it straight, then I think I need to get my ruler out, put a pencil line, be a little bit more particular about things. I just want this to be a fun card. So this one I can just peel that backing off, and I'm going to put this one here, and I still think I'm good with my spacing. Take this one off. Now these other little embellishments that I'm going to be adding to the card, they can be placed in multiple different places. And it all depends upon what you have for your images and how much space you have for your letters that you are going to then determine where you place those. So let me get my last letter down. And this will be a fun card to receive in the mail. I think I'm going to hand deliver these though. And here I'm just going to put that right like that. All right, I'm good with that. So now what I want to do is take some of these images. I'm going to put this little guy here, and I just want to make sure I don't cover up a letter that's hard to see what it is. And by pushing some of those up, you're going to get some extra spacing. And let's see, can I put that little guy here? Maybe not. So let's see, maybe I don't need that. Maybe we don't need that one. Do I want to put that one or the pumpkin? I think I'm going to put the pumpkin. And we're going to just go with, those images so I can still spell out the name. Now, when I look at this, I can say, okay, you know what? This guy, we're going to put this guy right there. How about that? We'll do that. Perfect. I think that's what I intended to do. Goodness. So let's take the dimensionals, and what I'm going to do here is take this one here. I know if I can just put 2 dimensionals right underneath this letter, and I'm going to take the backings off and place this right like so. Then for this little guy, we're going to have to cut some of these dimensionals that are on the side because of the amount of space you have behind. So I'm going to cut some of those on the side. You don't need a lot of dimensionals because they are fairly strong. And I'm just going to leave 2 on this one. And then we're going to attach him right here. Oh, that works perfect. Now for this guy, I'm going to put a couple dimensionals right in here. I don't like putting just 1 dimensional. I think the image twists. I like at least putting 2 dimensionals to anchor it. So if I put this little one right here, perfect. And then I can put a couple dimensionals right there, and that is going to work out perfect. Now, I do have some of these images to put on the inside. It's fun to decorate your envelope. It's fun to decorate the inside of the card. So I'm going to take a couple of these images. Like this guy is pretty big. I just couldn't fit him on the outside. And then I just love that image. So I'm going to put those 2 on the inside. So you can use different adhesive, but I want to share the multi-purpose liquid glue and how I would use that for these images. And so what I'm going to do is turn these upside down. I'm going to use my silicone craft mat. I'm going to put some multi-purpose liquid glue on the craft mat. Then I have dedicated this sponge dauber. It's really tacky. I've dedicated this to liquid glue, and I just keep reusing it. I'm going to saturate the liquid glue on here, and then I'm going to tap it to apply it to the back of this. Now, with the liquid glue, you don't want too much of it because it's going to ooze out. And if it oozes out and gets exposed adhesive, you close your card and you are going to then have the inside of your card stuck together. So I'm just going to tap this and I'm going to give it a little bit of time to dry. I don't know if you can see, like I have some extra white space there. I'm just going to give it a moment to dry. While I do that, I am going to decorate the outside a little bit more. I cut 3 of those bats and 3 of the candy corn images and stuck them to a mini glue dot. So what I'm going to do is take this and I'm going to attach these randomly on the card. And so I have 3 of these. Let's put this one right up here. And then the candy corn, I think what I'll do here is I'll just kind of stack it right on this last letter. And let's see, we'll just randomly stack it like so. Now this Designer Series paper, as I mentioned, is part of a suite. You have that bundle I shared with you, plus you have these really cool, these are a shimmer star foam sticker. 3 different colors, 3 different sizes, and they got a little bit of they have a foam adhesive. I'm gonna take these black ones, and I'm gonna add a star, a large star, a medium star, a small star, just randomly to all the letters here. So then I'm gonna go, and you know what? The beauty of this is you can do this in any fashion that you want, and your card's gonna be perfect. I know Oliver's gonna love getting this card. So back to the inside. I can see that that white is already gone. Now this is multi-purpose, meaning if I let this totally dry, it becomes like a Post-it note. But if I dry it a little bit, it's still got that permanent adhesive, and it's going to, now I don't have any oozing glue out to the side, and when I close that, it's going to fit great into the envelope. Now here's what I do with this envelope. Look at all these embellishments. If you were to mail this, or what I do is I turn my card inside out like this. I would mail it like this. That way all my inside embellishments are protected. I would put it in the envelope like that. When they open it up, hopefully they realize that that's the outside and that's the inside. That's where I'd sign the card. So isn't that a fun card to create? And here's Taylor's card. I used the same product, different colors. She's got more letters, so I really had to stack those. And then I went with some of the little girly type images here. And this is the inside of her card. So I got a little oops there's. That's where I'm going to have to sign my name to camouflage that. But these are fun cards to create. As I mentioned, it's a perfect time, Wednesday through Friday of this week, to get those bigger ticket items because you can save on your shipping, and then you can also get rewards for a future order. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. I would love to have you subscribe to my YouTube channel, to like my videos, and to watch my videos. I appreciate everybody that does. If you're looking for any of this product, look at the bottom of the text, or the bottom of the text of the video. I'll have a direct link to the online store to see more details about the product, and also on the bottom of my YouTube or my blog that I will link also in the text portion of the YouTube video. And I will have photos of these cards along with the list of the supplies, plus the measurements if you'd like to duplicate a card like this. Reach out if you have any questions. Take care and happy creating.